Hi, this is Steve Caldwell, and today I'm going to show you how you can use Bome MIDI Translator Pro to convert system-exclusive drawbar messages from the Roland VR-09 to MIDI control messages that many virtual instruments or plugins will accept. Although this example is specifically for the VR-09, the same concepts can be applied to other drawbar organ implementations. The flow diagram shown here shows how we set up the project file. On the top, we are going to convert drawbar system exclusive or Sys Ex messages into drawbar CC or control change messages for our virtual instrument. The bottom green arrow indicates that keyboard performance messages are going to pass through Bome MIDI Translator Pro untouched. The diagram here shows the format of the system-exclusive messages from the Roland VR-09 drawbars. In some, but not all cases, the manufacturer documents this for the user. In other cases, you may need to obtain this using the system logging feature of Bome MIDI Translator Pro to analyze and obtain this information. The actual format of these messages will vary depending on the model of the instrument. In this example, the green text represents repeating information that is present no matter which drawbar is moved. The red text is the calculated Roland checksum, and in this case we will ignore it for the purposes of this project. We will use the remaining portion of the message to construct each of our translators. The 01 here shows that this is a lower drawbar message. The 03 represents which drawbar is being moved. In this case, represents drawbar number 1, and the 04 is the value of the drawbar from 0 to 8. We will construct a separate translator in the project for each drawbar used. The first thing I like to do when creating a new project is assign aliases so that they are meaningful to me instead of the generic ports that are provided by the operating system. So I'm going to go ahead and call my input device Roland VR-09. And we'll tie that to my input port where it's plugged into, and then on the output I'll call that something like virtual instrument or virtual organ, and I will assign that to Bome MIDI Translator 1, which is a virtual port. So once I'm completed with that, and I've opened the ports, I'm going to go ahead and set up the default routing to go from the VR-09 to the virtual organ. This will allow the keystrokes to go through untouched. Here we'll go ahead and set up our first preset, which we'll call drawbars, and then start working on each of the translators that we need to create. The first one will be for lower drawbar number 1. The incoming message will be a raw system exclusive message that we captured earlier. Just put that in there. We will substitute the value for the drawbar for the variable QQ, and we will substitute the checksum, which we won't be using for the drawbar, to variable OO. We will not be using any rules in this translator, so all we need to do now is go to the output section. The outgoing section will have a control change. In this case, I'm going to use controller 90 for this particular drawbar, and the value of QQ, which is captured on the input. To set up the other translators, basically we need to duplicate the first and then change just a few variables. First of all, we'll rename the translator for the second drawbar. We'll change the incoming message that would be for drawbar 2, and we will change the outgoing message to a different controller number. In this case, we'll use 102. This is just how I have it set up in my plugin. Here I've duplicated that same procedure for the remaining 16 drawbars that won't be shown here in this video. Here on the right, I'm actually moving the drawbars on my real organ, and on the left you can see the virtual organ drawbars moving along with those. Thanks for watching today, and as always, I'll go ahead and set up a link on the YouTube for the project file that was used in this tutorial. Thanks again. If you have any questions, feel free to reach us at www.bome.com.